Reportedly, Meghan Markle is planning to release a couple of new shows produced by Netflix, but there are also reports that this is all fake news. So is Meghan Markle planning on sticking with Netflix, which she once so famously abandoned? Well, join me to learn more, and welcome back to my channel. Recently, we saw this press release claiming that Meghan Markle is going to produce a couple of cooking shows, and there's also going to be a polo series on Netflix. But what we have got to mention here is that there is still no confirmation whatsoever that Netflix is actually going to produce these two shows. Just in case you didn't catch it the first time, friends, I'm going to repeat myself. As of now, there is no confirmation whatsoever from Netflix. To me, that says all we need to know. There's just that single notice from Archewell that they're going to make these shows with a couple of different production teams. And we got to see some photos of a crew filming at the polo match for Centabali. Well, we also have seen footage of Harry hanging out in Hawaii, Meghan Markle doing her best to pretend like she cares in Uvalde. There's other stuff too. But this footage has never appeared in any series or show or mockumentary or anything. If I wanted to, I could also hire a film crew to follow me around and announce to the world that I'm going to make a whole new show starring myself. But that does not mean that anybody's going to be interested in buying or airing a show like that. So I know we've been hearing all this stuff about these projects pending. I don't think any of this news, though, is real. I think nothing is definitive at this point. Not the couple of shows, and certainly not this new business, American Riviera Orchard. Come on, give me a break. Meghan Markle doesn't even have any inventory, and she's applied for trademarks for selling so many different items, basically everything under the sun. But I think it's all just BS puff pieces to try to make people interested in those two. It's just like Meghan does with everything. She loves to play this will she or won't she game. And I'm kind of curious about how this usually works. Shouldn't Netflix be putting out all kinds of news about this? Shouldn't they be hyping it up that it's coming soon? Beyond Meghan's press release, nobody has said a word about it. Now, a few months ago, I remember Netflix said there were a couple of things in the early stages of development. Do you remember on that red carpet? Oh yeah, the one that Meghan was pushed off of. I'll never forget that. She said, "So excited to reveal what we're doing. We want people to feel something." I still have no idea, though, what a series about polo is supposed to make us feel. We're supposed to just watch a bunch of rich people playing a sport that might not be all that good for the horses, and we're supposed to feel inspired, maybe? I'm not sure. She made Netflix wait for such a long time to produce any kind of content. And now, right as her contract is coming to an end, now she's ready. She's ready to command everybody to do whatever she wants. Netflix has probably threatened them with a lawsuit. They would have every right to sue them for breach of contract. And so probably Netflix is just sitting back and taking a wait-and-see approach. I'm sure, though, both series are going to be minimal effort trash, and they'll probably never even make it into post-production. And maybe Meghan really did try. Who knows? But it's not like she had a finished project that she was shopping around. It was just her idea. And let's remember, Meghan Markle's ideas are always bad. And she, of course, was on the hunt for somebody else to cover production costs. She and Harry are never going to pay for anything. Why, though? Why would Netflix ever pick up a show about polo? It's not a very popular sport. The only people who are interested in polo are the polo players themselves, and it's not very good for the horses. There's no audience for a show like that. I don't think Netflix would agree to it. And if Meghan Markle really thought this was going to be an amazing piece, the cooking show in that horrible, grainy, foggy format, then honestly, I can only cringe at her delirium. So as far as I know, Netflix did buy the rights for Archewell to produce, but neither Harry nor Meghan has any real history in production. Who's gonna want them to be producers? Such a weird decision, isn't it? Maybe things have changed now because Netflix's movie division has been reorganized and perhaps this project isn't a priority anymore. Who really knows? It is quite a mystery. I still want to know too. Do you all remember that story about that book? What was it? Meet Me at the Lake? I still want to know the truth on that. Did Netflix really buy the rights for Meghan and Harry to produce? And what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to find a director, a cast, a location? Who would trust those two idiots to do that? Neither of them are capable, and they're not involved in the film industry. So I don't know what Netflix is even expecting of them. And if it were to go ahead, you know Meghan would assign herself the leading role. Netflix really is in on this. I mean, what's going on at Netflix? Have they just lost their minds? Maybe they're just counting on viewers to be hate watching it, because I don't think anybody's going to watch with real interest. But could that possibly be a formula for success? Absolutely not. Now, in big groups such as this, many of us are also hate watchers. So I think it's going to depend on people like us not watching. Honestly, folks, if you're like me, you've already canceled your Netflix subscription. And if you haven't already, probably about time to do so. If I had paid good money for a project to be produced by those losers, I would be very upset that they were off doing polo and these stupid cooking shows. The difference is walking around with cameras following or boiling a pot of pasta. It's pretty easy. It's nothing compared to mounting a film production. And that's why I think this could be used as leverage to kick the two of them out. That contract has not been fulfilled on their end. We know that. Netflix can just tell them, we spent our money on a project for you and you haven't produced anything. And let's remember, Meghan has a horrible record when it comes to keeping production staff on. Assistants also don't want to work for her. Budgets do change. Executives, company directors, they change. They could easily get involved in a scandal that makes them untouchable or not marketable between now and then. So I'm pretty sure what would have to happen is that Netflix would have to just pick it up and buy it after Meghan produces it, and that's what I understand. But I do have some advice for Netflix. They should really just take a hint from Spotify and cut their losses, cut those two off. I need to see Harry and Meghan for what they truly are, a couple of effing grifters. Netflix needs to just throw in the towel. Just give up on those two losers. I mean, first of all, who is going to want to watch a show about polo featuring an abusive player, somebody who has proven to be incredibly cruel to ponies, among other things too? And it seems like there was basically little to no communication with most of his past teammates. So episode 1 is going to open with a charity match benefiting Sentabale, where Harry literally says Africa is in my soul, but he won't say a thing about the African Parks charity scandal. And then what about his toxic co-host? Yeah, Meghan Markle, the one who has his cojones in her handbag. I mean, she's incredibly rude and disrespectful to everybody. Nobody is going to be interested in watching her. After the polo show, what are they going to do? Is Harry going to try to exploit the Sentabale charity too? And then we're going to learn about how he didn't fly Apache helicopters. And then I guess he'll have to come up with something else. Maybe he'll go to the Antarctic or Arctic again and talk about his frozen penis. It looks like, though, they're still facing a big problem with the stupid polo show. Nobody's going to watch it. I mean, how popular was that Invictus documentary? Yeah, not popular at all. And is Meghan going to have to be there with him just to get people to tune in? How is that going to make Harry feel? And then the other show, God, the other show, even stupider than the polo show, Meghan Markle's cooking show. Supposedly it's going to be about cooking and gardening and friendships. Obviously, she has no idea what she's talking about in this department. I mean, looking at Meghan Markle in the kitchen is hardly inspiring. I swear, she scurries around like a lost rat, and then her extensions are flying all over the place. You know a strand of that disgusting stuff is going to end up in some soup. And I do wonder, is her cooking going to include when the time that she cooked the toast that she referred to as fancy toast, just because she changed her grandmother's apple butter recipe a little bit? And which grandmother, too? I didn't think Meghan had relationships with anybody in her family. I mean, that grandmother sure wasn't invited to the wedding. These two are such a problem. They really are a scourge on humanity. What is it gonna take to get these two to just shut up and go away? I don't know about you all, but I am so sick and tired of watching Harry and Meghan prance around with polo thrown in for good measure, acting like they're somehow relatable. I just don't think Netflix is going to agree to such a stupid idea. And considering Harry's history of being incredibly abusive and cruel to the polo ponies, he's got no business saying anything about that sport. Now, personally, I'm going to advocate for animals and their welfare, not Harry. Would I want to pay Netflix to watch an animal be abused? Absolutely not. Let's remember, Harry was the one who insisted on riding a very pregnant mare in a polo match to the point that she went into distress on the field. They had to take her off the field and then she died of a heart attack. That man has no conscience. And then there are ponies who are tortured and injured by Harry's use of spurs. Such an uncomfortable thing to watch. Nobody is going to want to see that. Who wants to see a poor polo pony bleeding, squirming in distress and pain as Harry's digging the spurs in even deeper? I think Netflix would face a lot of backlash, and they don't need that right now. Now, maybe some pervs out there want to watch Meghan Markle roasted chicken, but I don't think anybody else is going to be interested in watching her cooking show either. It is funny, too, how Meghan just can't let Harry have anything. I mean, she can't even let him have his own show. She's got to go in there and steal his thunder. I'm surprised that she didn't try to get the name on the credits for Spare. But anyway, that polo show is not going to be a success. They have no creativity between the two of them, obviously. And after the Netflix deal has finally come to an end by mutual agreement, they're probably going to end up doing some reality TV. We're going to get to see Keeping Up with the Markles. But it doesn't really matter how hard Meghan tries to make this comeback, she's not going to succeed. She probably can't even remember the last time that she actually participated in a meeting. She hasn't been able to plan a gathering, and what about cooking? Meghan doesn't cook. Does she garden? Again, no, she hates being outside. And friendship? What? I mean, what are they talking about? Meghan doesn't know anything about friendship. She has no friends. All right, I also got to talk a little bit more about Meghan's new brand, American Riviera Orchard. The timing of the release of the really pathetic webpage and the weird blurry videos was supposed to be some type of clapback at somebody or something, probably Netflix, I guess, turning down this lifestyle cooking show idea. I'm guessing the stuff she released was what she presented to them as a teaser, like, oh, look, my ideas are so great. And they said, no, they're really not. Obviously, though, this launch was incredibly rushed, and it was because of Catherine and her cancer announcement. It came just a few days after Meghan Markle graced the world with her new American Riviera Orchard business. I think she was upset with Netflix, and she thought that she was going to get 100 million views in a day, and that Netflix would feel so sorry and beg her to work with them again. Well, obviously, that did not happen. So now Meghan is stepping back from more business launches because supposedly it's out of respect for Catherine's illness, or maybe it's Catherine's fault because nobody's interested in her business. I don't know. I can't keep the lies straight. She's got plenty of excuses. Just take your pick. Sometimes I do wonder, too, what is Meghan Markle's life like on a daily basis? What does it consist of? Maybe going shopping, reviewing the decor where the event is going to be held, planning some photo staging, getting ready, and memorizing any dialogue that she's going to say, working with other people at events that she's going to attend. It seems like she does have a desperate need to wear the latest trends and stage absolutely everything. There's nothing genuine about her. And with every single event that we see, it's always the same nonsense. She's pretending to be a royal in the US, but, whereas royals serve the public, she only is interested in serving herself. And I don't know that she does anything else with her time. I guess all that BS keeps her busy. Meghan, though, has a very disturbed mind. I would hate to be inside of that sick brain. I would not like to be her. I think she's a miserable person. And for her, just imagine it never ends. I mean, we get annoyed by her, but just imagine being her, being stuck inside of that toxic body. And look, maybe some people disagree with me, but she is mentally very, very ill. And yes, I also enjoy laughing at her, but at the end of the day, she's pretty scary too. I've also found it all just so bizarre, this stuff that's going on lately. Meghan doesn't have anything coming out other than a cooking show and a polo show. So where exactly is it going to be shown? On Netflix? I just can't believe that. I think that Netflix would have confirmed this by now. So maybe 2 shows really are going to be launched on Netflix, like the press release announced. But anyway, they're going to fail because seriously, who would watch such boring stuff on TV? Thank you so much, friends, for watching this video until the very end. This is the main content of today's newsletter. How do you feel about this content? Do you agree with the point of view we just shared? Please leave a comment below, and don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. I'll be back soon to see you again in other videos on my YouTube channel.